So, as mentioned, I'm Adam Ward. I'm with American Municipal Power, and I know there are a few new faces here, so I thought I'd at least give a real quick update on who AMP is and how we partner with Napoleon. So we are a nonprofit organization. We represent over 130 municipal electric systems across 9 states. The vast majority of our members are in Ohio, and we provide power supply as well as a lot of energy services that help members maintain and really enhance their distribution systems. I'd say one other thing we do is we provide advocacy at the federal level as well as the state level to really advance the interests of our member communities. So that's really been, I'd say, has taken a higher level of importance lately. But I will say, we really value Napoleon's, the partnership that we've had with Napoleon over the years. Our former CEO is from Napoleon, our current COO is from Napoleon, so we have a deep partnership, and we appreciate all of the participation in member projects as well as services. So I'm happy to answer any questions about AMP if you have any. If not, I'll stick around, or you can contact me anytime. But a great example of one of the services that we provide to our members, if a member chooses to participate, is the Efficiency Smart program. And with that, I'll turn it over to Sean.
Thank you, Adam. Hey, Sean. Good evening.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back. It's good to be here. Let's turn this up ever so slightly. All right. As Ross mentioned, my name is Sean Clement. I am the director of the Efficiency Smart program. And, as Adam mentioned, and seeing a couple new faces, we thought it might be a little bit helpful to start off with some bit of Efficiency Smart 101, what we're doing here. I'm going to approach this with an assumption that I'm going to explain things more rather than less, hoping that covers some maybe gaps in knowledge. But if I'm saying something that is known and well understood by everyone, please stop me and move me forward. Or if you want to ask a question, what the heck are you talking about? I'm happy to answer those too. I don't know what you all know, and I'm going to help fill in any gaps where I can. So if you want to move to the next slide. So Efficiency Smart is an energy efficiency program that is made available to your customers. And when we hear from our municipal members why they like being in this program, why they would want to do it in the first place, there are 4 common themes we hear. One is it saves you money. And the you in this case is not just the customers, the end users of electricity and residents and businesses of Napoleon, although they save money too, and we'll talk about that in the presentation. It's about the utility and the city. You have power supply purchases that you must make. You have costs that you must pay. And we are able to meet some of those needs, a small portion, honestly, of your power supply requirement more cost effectively than other tools that you have and other generation sources. So our ability to save energy, we can save it more cheaply than you can buy it or generate it on the market. And then you have 2 other kinds of costs that you must pay for, that you're probably hearing more about with each passing year. One is capacity, and that's administered by an organization referred to as PJM. And they hold markets to determine the prices that you will pay to be able to make that capacity available to Napoleon. And recent pricing trends in that market have skyrocketed. Those numbers are shooting up tenfold, is what we're seeing in coming years. So that market has volatility in it, and it has expense in it. And the way you all hope to reduce your exposure to that expense is by reducing your KW peaks, like the amount of electricity you use at any one moment in time. Almost always for us in northern Ohio, that will be in the summer, on the weekdays, on the hottest of weekdays, usually between 3 and 5, maybe 4 and 6. So those are those peak moments, and they will determine your prices that you pay for the following year. So in any ways, and you probably have a number of tools that you try to use to reduce those peaks, Efficiency Smart and energy efficiency in general can be really helpful ways to reduce those as well. So that's some of the way that we deliver the financial value to your community, is by helping you save on the peak, that thus reduces your capacity prices and your transmission prices. Transmission is something you must pay for to get the electricity here from other more remote locations, and you pay it from a single provider with whom you do not get to negotiate the price. They get to tell you how much it is, and all you can do is try to mitigate and reduce that peak. So we are one of the tools that you have to try to help you reduce those. By doing those three things, this energy efficiency program returns value to your city, to the operation of the utility. Your payment and investment in it is returned to you more than what you have paid into it. And we'll talk about what those exact numbers are, but that is sort of principle number one of why would you operate an energy efficiency program in your town? That's why. It helps you control your costs, some of which are very hard to control, some of which you pass on to your customers, but there's more and less control in there, and we give you a tool to control that. Some other more fun parts of what we do, we get to increase customer satisfaction, the services that we offer to your customers, to your businesses, to your residents, make them happy. They reflect the investment that you make in the city, and they reflect the value of public power, right? This is why we operate public power utilities, is to do good service by our neighbors and to retain control of those services within our cities. That's what you do, and that's what we aim to do on your behalf and deliver that value to your customers. We can also do that as a customer engagement tool. We have a full-time marketing staff who works to do customer engagement. We'll actually talk about some of those results today, but that's a cool tool that we offer you when you may not have all the staff to dedicate to those same resources as we do. And if you do, great, we'll augment them. We don't need to replace them, it's great. And finally, economic development. It's obviously very important to you as a city from a number of different angles to retain your businesses that you have in town, to help them thrive, reduce costs, compete with other plants in other towns, and to give you tools to attract companies who might be entertaining moving into the Napoleon area. And if you have those, we can not only be a part of that sort of attraction package at your choosing, but we can also sit down with them as they move into town and make sure they are operating at the most energy efficient from day one with the renovation or construction of the building they might use. And therefore, they're going to be operating at the most cost-effective way as a company that they can from day one. Really helps give them a good impression. We know more and more that companies coming to our towns demand to help, we need ways to help meet our own corporate sustainability objectives or what the public demands of us, or whatever those goals might be. And this gives you a tool to help your companies meet their goals and requirements on that front. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. And again, now's a great time to tackle me with questions. Feel free. How do we do this? Well, we will serve all of the customers that are users of electricity in Napoleon, which, by the way, includes the municipality itself. We often do projects with our municipalities, and we do them with you as well. We do them with your residents and with your businesses, commercial and industrial. We have a lot of staff that work to do those on a number of fronts. We do a lot of marketing for residential customers. Folks like Joey Boston, who's your dedicated account manager here, works with your businesses and builds relationships that we have over time, and they grow and strengthen over time, which is a great benefit of us being here for a long period of time. And we really tailor those services to meet the needs of the communities and the industries that we work with and whatever they may specifically be. Hospitals need different services than manufacturing than a commercial building or a rental property. And we do this with two main tools: money, incentives, right? Incentive dollars to help them make good purchasing decisions to install lower usage technologies, but still get the same output. And then information. Sometimes we can just give advice that will help them sequence air compressors or pumps or do different things that will help them save energy. And we don't even claim it on the reports that you guys get on a monthly basis. It's just good service, it's smart, helps the customer, it builds trust. So we're going to do those things. We're an objective third party. We don't sell anything. We don't sell products. We don't represent lighting. We don't represent any company selling a product. We will help them evaluate if a vendor brings them an idea and we think it's not a good idea or they're being charged too much. We work for your customers. We're going to tell them that. So sometimes vendors don't always love us. We try to build good relationships with them, but the fact is we work for your customers first. And so we are vendor neutral, and we will only give recommendations if they're cost effective. You just installed a new furnace last year and it's working fine for you, and you come to me and say, should I put in this energy efficient unit I found? No, is the answer, because it's not cost effective for you. And while it might be great for other reasons, and if you want to talk about those, we will, it's not cost effective. We're not going to advocate you do those things. So we're always looking at the bottom line with you and with your customers. Next slide. So let's talk about where we are in contract progress. So by the way, our current contract cycle, a little bit more than halfway through, about 58% of the way at the end of September. Your contract cycle will renew this contract rather will renew or will be up for renewal and end on December 31st of 2025. So if you'll have me back, I'd like to come back next year and talk about what those options might look like, but we'll stick to where we are today. My colleague Tom Coyle came here this time last year and presented to you where we were then. We were still building up that momentum in year one of a 3-year contract. He said, hey, the pipeline looks good. We're excited about what's to come. I get to come to you today and say we're excited about what's happening. So where we are, as you can see, we're way ahead of the curve at 58% of the way through the contract. You have both a megawatt hour goal, meaning we want to save you energy to keep those costs for you low, and that kilowatt peak goal. We have one of each. We are ahead of the curve on both goals, and as we will see soon, the pipeline looks good too. And we are on track to exceed both goals, which the last time I was here and we were in the wake of more challenging market conditions, I didn't have quite the good news of that level to tell you, so I'm really happy to be able to share that with you today. Next slide. So this is what we are forecasting for where we think we will land based on what we know today. Usually these numbers get a little bit better as we uncover a few new projects as time passes towards the end of the contract. But based on what we know today, things are looking good. We're going to exceed by over a third the megawatt hour goal, and we will exceed the kilowatt goal. And like I said, we do tend to see those numbers creep up a little bit with time, but based on what we know today, this is what we forecast. And when we talk about what financial impact that has on the city and the utility that you operate, well, the return on investment, sorry, I've got to learn to read from a distance. The percentage rate of return is 186%. So that means for every dollar you paid into this program, you will save $2.86 in energy and energy-related costs as a utility. So that's the bottom line of the decision you're making and continue to make. Your customers will also benefit. They will save, not only will their rates stay lower because you're saving on energy costs and you're able to keep that more stable than you would if you didn't, they're also able, by participating in the program, to save almost $3 million in lifetime savings. And so that's awesome. And folks, so there is great benefit for all of the residents and businesses of the town because of the city, because they get to benefit from you keeping their costs managed well. They will all benefit, and they may not even know it when they avoid a rate increase, but it will happen. They will benefit. But those who do participate will get even additional benefits above and beyond that. So both groups benefit from the program existing. All right, I'm going to slow down, allow questions, and also flip through on paper so I can more easily read these numbers. Now's a great time to ask me one of those questions you didn't earlier. Nope.
I have a question for you.
Hey,
Sean.
all right.
So with all of these suggestions and things that you make for residential customers, can you name maybe the top 3 that help people save money the most?
Yeah, well, and we're going to talk about the results for our specific program in recent times of one of the best, what we call, in the industry, we call measures that we like to do with residential customers is appliance recycling. So it started off we would offer for refrigerators and freezers. Think of the thing holding the 6-pack of soda, of course, in the garage that's, 20 years old that no one wanted to keep in the house anymore. Maybe it's in the basement. We've actually expanded that, by the way, to dehumidifiers and room air conditioners, which has been super popular. We will take those from customers who no longer want them. We will pick them up. They don't pay any money. In fact, they get, depending on the time and the season, we're offering it, I think, we used to offer a baseline of a $50 bounty for that. It's been up to $100, depends. And actually, I want to talk about an improvement to that service we're starting to develop, and I would love Napoleon to participate in next year, so don't let me forget that one. But basically, it takes that appliance off of the grid. They don't need to keep running it. We get to environmentally responsibly recycle it and get it back in, moving through the supply chain and all the copper and all the good stuff, and then responsibly dispose of everything else. We pay them a bounty. It saves a ton of energy for them and cost, and for the city, it's actually one of the best things we can do residentially for kilowatt peak, summer peak, because those things, they're not running very efficiently. And while it's nice to have that extra six-pack getting cooled or those little bit of extra food, it's not usually worth the cost. But as residents, we don't always dial into that. We don't do the math on every appliance we have sitting around the house. Another thing I would say is smart thermostats. They're super easy to use. They implement some basic controls. Some people like them and find them really cool. You can have the convenience of controlling them on your phone. One of the cool things we're going to have coming up, and I'm doing a couple of spoilers for my own presentation here. I ruin an entire slide by the time I'm done, but there will be smart thermostats that will go on sale on a Black Friday promotion on our online store. When the manufacturer comes in and does a price drop matched with our incentives, there can literally get to be times where you can get a smart thermostat for free. We will limit you to one per account user, so just be mindful of that fact. You won't be able to resell them, but they are there, and when installed, they can be really helpful. You all participate in another AMP program called Community Energy Savings that enables you to help fight peak costs that way. The more of these measures that get installed through our service, you can then connect to that program. So it's a double dipping benefit there. So there's gains on the efficiency side and even more gains on the peak side potentially. You said 3. Did you want 3? I only gave you 2.
That's good enough.
If
I'm
I had
sure you're
people
gonna
with
hit
parents, I would say lighting controls. It's as much as a sanity saver as it is an electric saver, but I think it's good on both fronts. So
Right.
There's my third for a bonus.
All
round.
right, thanks.
All right.
I was keeping track.
Thanks for buying me time. All right, so working with Napoleon businesses, we've always had a lot of success on this front, building partnerships in the area. We've included a quote from Brent here. I think it's really cool. I think it tells the story. This is the stuff that we love to hear. He recently wrote a letter, and we've shared it and want to share it here today. Rental property is a great opportunity, and it's sometimes a hard area to break into because you've got renters and their whole, contribution to the utility scenario, and then you've got the owners, and so it can be a divided incentive for those folks. But in this case, he mentions that he had planned something years out. These rebates allowed him to accelerate the progress and to do it now. And because of the benefit and the easy experience of working with wonderful people like Joey, he said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do these at other properties now too. So this is the exact kind of experience we're going for. We get to accelerate the rate of change. We get to make change happen that wasn't going to happen, and we get to leave people feeling really happy and thrilled that the city offers them this kind of program. Some numbers on here that talk about the pipeline, and really what they tell you is the pipeline is strong. That's what leads to those goals being achieved in part. And on the next, this resident slide here, this is awesome. And I'll tell you, residential participation can be challenging. I'm sure there are other services you offer that you found that getting high rates of participation can be difficult or variable at best. We've had great success this contract cycle with Napoleon residents. You guys are knocking it out of the park. There is lots of data to back this up. The rebates through our program, 58 different rebates have been redeemed through the program by different customers. And I talked about appliance recycling is really popular here, almost 150 of those. And you can see here the feedback that we got through one of our customer surveys that's always really lovely to hear. And on the next slide, we go a little bit deeper into the customer engagement. Not all of these relate to incentives or purchases, but the website traffic, the web traffic that we get here from Napoleon residents and to the Napoleon page is actually quite high. Again, you're our #1 community this cycle around for appliance recycling, and you've had a lot of folks engage in those customer engagement. We do social media campaigns where folks get to vote on Facebook for the things they love. In this most recent case, we did nominate your favorite or best volunteer from your hometown, and then we let people vote on and compete, and, the winners and the finalists are all given, energy efficiency benefits that come from that. And one of the finalists was from Napoleon. We do, I think it's November, we do Trivia Tuesday every year, so that's coming up. If you're into trivia, we had a Trivia Tuesday winner from Napoleon. And we actually, I can't remember if it was this year or last year, we did a photo contest of submit your favorite photos from your hometown, or from your current town, I suppose. And actually, as it shows here, 5 residents were finalists in that photo contest from Napoleon. This one in the slide here was the winner. It's a beautiful photo, and actually on the next slide, the 2 photos there were part of that contest. So it's cool they gave us permission to use these as we help to market the program so that people see recognizable images of places they know and love, and so that's been happening. So what's coming? Like I said, Trivia Tuesdays. We have this is the slide that got ruined, so I've said pretty much everything on it, but what I want to talk about a little bit, I want to plant a seed here, and Joey and others who will handle the mechanics of it will talk about it more extensively. But I think it'd be a great opportunity next year. We've been doing, for appliance recycling, drop-off events. The way the program currently works, you call, you schedule, truck comes out to your house, they do all the heavy lifting. But for some folks, they might prefer to just bring it to a center in town, a parking lot we can use somewhere. We bring in a truck. We have our own staff there. We get to be there and present and answer questions. And I think this would be a great opportunity for something to bring to Napoleon. So no answers required for that today. We can work it through with Andy and others later. But we can plant that seed as something that would be really cool to do here. And I bet with the results and the interest we've seen that it might be a real popular event to do with residents in town. So I think that'd be a great idea. I think that is my last slide, other than something that says my name and or question. Yeah. So that's what we have. Any other questions or thoughts, feedback?
You did such a great job.
That's how I'll choose to interpret your silence. Okay. And that we had such great results, right?
Kevin?
Council President, if I just add, we've worked with Joey quite often throughout the years, in that if we have a residential customer or a commercial customer that, states that their utilities are very high, and why are they high, or you guys are charging me way too much, she's able to at least step in and talk to those individuals as an outsider of Napoleon, and discuss them and give them some suggestions. So those are other success stories that we use Efficiency Smart for that wasn't really brought up. Sean, you did a great job, but that on a one-on-one basis that we do use them throughout the year.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thanks, Kevin. We actually have a service called Electric Bill Advice. So if your customer service staff find there's no billing issues, there's not an issue there, but the customer's still confused, they can call our line. We'll do a little bit of an energy choose your own adventure tree and work through to try to diagnose some common causes and effects. We try to recommend some no-cost or low-cost solutions for them. And sometimes it's just about saying, well, it was an unusually hot summer. And to your point, Kevin, hearing that, through a third party can just be helpful to think, okay, and sometimes just having that additional understanding, that additional time to be heard, that does all the, that delivers a lot of the benefit there.
Are you still doing the program with the light bulbs at local hardware stores and things like that?
Yeah,
If
we
so, how
still,
often?
yes, and I will say it's tapered off as more and more LEDs become part of the market. It just natural progression of things. We've also started opening that up to trying out different products. We've had some success with, some less success with others, but smart bulbs, smart sockets, lots of things with the word smart in front of them, and you're seeing a trend. Or also just a diversity in different bulb types, but yeah, that's a program. We refer to it as local retail savings, but I don't think that's a common moniker out in the community. But yeah, and who's our local partner here?
Kurt's hardware.
Thank you. I wanted to see if I could stump Joey real quick, but she hasn't. I don't have them all memorized. Yeah, indeed, we do that. So those are also really popular. I think the appliance program's great because it doesn't require people to make a purchase. And so we're always looking for programs where we don't want people to have to buy something to save something, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. Other questions?
Sean, thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thanks for having
Really
us.
appreciate
And
it.
again, we look forward to hopefully visiting, being asked to visit again next year.
Absolutely.
We can talk about another cycle, and we can see how accurate our predictions were.
That's good.
right.
And Joey, thank you for all that you do too. We really appreciate the partnership.
Very much appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Thank you. All right, we'll move to item E, the approval of minutes from the September 16th, 2024 regular council meeting. In the absence of any objections or corrections, those minutes shall stand approved. I'm hearing none, they'll stand approved. Item F, citizen communication. If there's anyone in attendance tonight that would like to address council on something that is outside of the agenda, feel free to come forward at this time. Hey, Kelly. Kelly, if you would, just write your name and address on that login page.
I gotcha.
And as you know, we do offer 5 minutes for our citizen communication.
Yep. You want everything on here, Ross, or just my name?
If you could just put your address as well, Kelly,
Okay.
that'd be great. And then just state that for the record, please.
Kelly Burkhart, 923 Woodlawn Avenue, here in Napoleon. You can say it quicker than I can write it. Okay, I just have a couple things. I just wanted to come to council, after we did, the presentation, for the committee. It was, I met some people after that, and there was a lot of, fear, concern, education. So we realized that we need to do a better job of explaining the homelessness and the people that are working in our community that are homeless. So tomorrow afternoon at 4:30 at the Emporium, we're bringing together some community folks, some of the other social service agencies, and going to do a forum. It'll last just an hour from 4:30 to 5:30. I brought some flyers to pass around, so I invite any of you that could attend. I realize it's short notice. I've spent 6 weeks on the fair circuit working for Pettysville Meats. So we did the committee, and then I've been working. Although this year, my phone rang continuously, and there's nothing I could do when I was in other counties serving pork chops on a stick. But my phone kept ringing. Right now, there's several folks working out at the truck stop, living in their cars at the truck stops. It's just getting worse, and it's getting colder out. So we're going to do the community forum. So, and then back several years ago, we did an empty bowls event here, and we had some information. This is from Bridges Out of Poverty, Ruby Payne. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that. It explains the different socioeconomic classes. And although this is from 2012, you guys would still get the gist of it. But it explains, could you survive poverty, could you survive middle class, and you could survive wealth. So I just ask each one of you to take it. We're just trying to do more education. The folks that we're trying to help in Napoleon aren't the illegal immigrants coming into the United States. It's not any of that. It's our folks working here. I'm also dealing with a gentleman a little under 50 years old, so he doesn't qualify for some of the senior housing. He had a fire in Van Wert, not from here, but his family all lives here, and he's trying to find a place to live, and he's been knocking on my door every day. We're also getting a lot of folks, and I don't know what's going to happen now that Helene went through Tennessee, but a lot of folks from the South that have family here in the area, and they say, oh yeah, come up, you can get a job here and you can live with me. Well, that lasts about, maybe a month, and they're like, I can't live here, but they work here. So the folks that we're trying to help are working. Campbell's Soup, McDonald's, the truck stops. We did have someone at Defiance Stamping, that person isn't there anymore, but they're working, our fast food restaurants and things. So we just need to find something. So I would just ask, I think my 5 minutes are up, but we'll have that, and I'll be back. We'll continue educating, and we're going to continue this homeless thing because we got to have some place for people to live. So I just want to thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. Everybody have a good evening.
You too. Okay. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Pat McCauley, and I'm with the Office of State Treasurer of Ohio, Robert Sprague. I'm his liaison for Northwest Ohio. I take care of 19 counties, and I just wanted to stop by council tonight and just give you a little bit of an update on some of our programs. I know I've worked with Mr. Geringer before when he was auditor, and of course a little bit since he's been here with the city. But we have several programs that are of interest to a lot of our communities, the first being Star Ohio. That has been paying around 5.4% for a while here. I think it was up to 5.8, 5.9 in that neighborhood earlier this year. And we do hope that continues to stay up there instead of going the other way like it was a couple of years ago when you were better off putting your money under a mattress, I think. So, but we're glad you're participating in it, and we hope it's helping you out. Our newest program, the Ohio Home Buyer Plus, allows individuals that want to buy a house to be able to save money at an increased interest rate. In Northwest Ohio, there are many financial institutions that participate in this program, so it's easy for anybody that wants to open up that account to be able to save money for that purchase of a home. Since we started offering it back in the middle of January, we have over 18,000 accounts have opened up, so people are taking advantage of this. The last program I'd like to mention is OMAP. That's the Ohio Market Access Program. That allows any government subdivision to be able to use the credit rating of the Treasurer's Office to get better financing rates for short-term capital projects. So if the city is looking to do something where you're going to have to take out a note, please take a look at the program. I think, do you still have information on that? Yes. Great. Please take a look at that, and because it could possibly save you some substantial money. And if there's ever anything that the State Treasurer's Office can do to help you out, do not be afraid to reach out. Mr. Geringer knows how to get a hold of me, and we'd be happy to assist you in any way we can.
Wonderful. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mr. McCullough. Really appreciate you coming, and I was just gonna ask if you
Yeah,
don't mind
I'll
just
sign.
adding your name there, that'd be wonderful. Kevin, you have the info on all three of those programs?
If I've had it, I can obtain it.
Okay.
Yes. I can tell you that Star Ohio has been very, very good to the city of Napoleon in the last few years. The interest rate that we've gained off of that has been quite helpful for our revenues. And I can also vouch that Pat and I have known each other for several years.
Yes.
He's been a pleasure to work with.
So, all information on all of our programs, it is ohiotreasurer.com or .gov. I think either one will get you there. But you can always reach out to me. I'll be happy to assist you.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Have a great night.
You too. Anyone else? Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Justin McCall, and I have the great opportunity to serve as the pastor at Christ United Methodist Church on Glenwood. My family and I recently moved here in May to begin serving in this community, and I appreciate the speed of community change. From our Napoleon Parks website, the recent addition of Kids Kingdom, a large wooden playground structure, has made Glenwood Park a favorite for many families. This May marks 25 years since the installation of Kids Kingdom in our community. Recently, on September 3rd, I sent out an email to the information link email for the community and had not received a message back. And so I hope this evening to maybe set up a couple of dominoes that we could maybe push around building, about doing some improvement work, some community engagement around improvements and repairs for the Kids Kingdom in celebration of that 25 years. While our Parks Department has done an admirable job of keeping the facilities up to date and in good repair, it is 25 years old and is beginning to show some of its age. Several of the equipment pieces have been removed over years or are broken. Several of the large pillars have hollowed out now and have worn away. The sandboxes are all just now ground, and the mulch is very weedy, and I recognize they're putting new in, but it's mulch, and it just mulches. And so I hope to push that domino and see if there's an opportunity for some community partnership around an improvement for that space, and perhaps maybe an eye toward creating a more handicap-inclusive park in Glenwood.
I have one question, if I could. Where did you say you sent that email to?
At the end, I can look it up. It's the info at whatever, info at napoleonohio.com.
Okay. I want to just take a look to see who.
I made a note. I'll talk to Andy when he gets back to work and ask him about it. I don't know if he's seen it or if it was forwarded to Tony Cotter. I don't
Right.
know, but I can ask him about it.
Okay, thank you.
Justin, I was just gonna say, if you don't mind putting your contact information
Yeah.
on there. I know that there are a couple of churches in the community that have partnered with the city on parks projects, so we would love the opportunity to partner with you and.
Yeah, and I know there's a great interest down on the south side of town for the skate park and improving there. And so, yeah, like from that link, one of the favorites of our community is that Glenwood Park. And I'd love to continue to see that moniker of building the dream together, that maybe we could continue to build that dream.
Absolutely. Any other questions or comments for Justin? All right. Well, Justin, thank you again for your time.
I would say thank you for taking the time to come here and talk
Great,
about it.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
I'm also a glutton for punishment when it comes to politics.
All right, we will move to item G, the reports from council committees. G1, the Finance and Budget Committee met on September 23rd, 2024. And Tom.
So, yeah, we approved the third quarter budget adjustments, and we'll be seeking full council approval of the ordinance and resolution later in the agenda.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. G2, the Safety and Human Resources Committee met on September 23rd, 2024. And
We were able to review the EMS costs and revenues.
thank you, Jordan. G3, the Technology and Communications Committee did not meet earlier tonight due to lack of agenda items. And that will take us to item I, introduction of new ordinances and resolutions. I1, ordinance number 032-24, an ordinance supplementing the annual appropriation measure, supplement number 3 for the year 2024, and declaring an emergency. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Kevin, you want that one?
Sure. Thank you, Council President. This is the first of 3 resolutions that were discussed for the third quarter budget adjustments in the Finance and Budget Committee meeting. All 3 of these did pass the committee. What this first one is these are actual budget increases, so increases to the line items for various reasons, whether or not enough was budgeted, or just something that was cost more than than it needed to be. If I'll answer any questions about any of these. One of them, though, that I will point out is you'll see on the exhibit, Chad, on the first page, down about 3/4 of the way down, you'll see a $2 million budget increase. Keep going up, please, because it's Fund 434.
There you go.
Right there. Oakwood Avenue Improvement Project. This is quite large, but just to explain this one, when we received funds for the Oakwood Avenue project, this is actually money that we've never seen. It's the $2 million grant from ODOT that they paid. They had a maximum of $2 million. Our auditing, we have to show that in our books. So this is what we call an in and an out. So that would give a value of what the cost was for Oakwood through our books. So we did not budget that. This is, we have a separate fund number for that. So that'll be an expense of 2 million, but what you don't see on the flip side is there's a revenue that we have to increase to of 2 million. So it's just shows in our books. So that's like quite a large number to do that. And then on the second page, this is our money. On the top, the 744,000 on Fund 521, right there, the top one. This was a carryover from we had changeover employment, and we did not encumber the Oakwood in 2023 because that was a 2023 budgeted item to do work in 2024. So while we did anticipate this cost, it was never encumbered, so this is the budget increase for that. I will answer any questions about any of the others you have, but I would suggest that we have passed this under suspension, or I'm at least requesting that we do so we could close our books for the month.
Thank you, Kevin. Any questions from council?
Motion for suspension.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll for suspension, please.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Ross?
Yes. Okay. And then, Michaela, will you call the roll for the ordinance, please?
It's Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes. Okay, that will pass on first read under suspension. Item I2, ordinance number 033-24, an ordinance authorizing the finance director to make appropriation transfers, transfer of appropriation 3 from one appropriation line item to another appropriation line item pursuant to ORC section 5705.40 for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024, as listed in Exhibit A, and declaring an emergency. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Kevin?
Thank you, Council President. So the second one here is what we, in the finance world, like to see is that we are moving budgeted amount of monies from one line item to the other. And this is what we do. We ask our employees or department heads to try to do this. So this is zero increase to the overall budget for that. So if, for example, I'll take that top one there. So their travel, training, and education, $50 that were budgeted was moved out of that for memberships and dues. I can go over any of these line items. There's nothing that is too glaring on any of these, but I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. It was approved by the Finance and Budget Committee meeting, and again, I'm asking for suspension of rules.
Okay. Any questions from council? Is there a motion for suspension?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll for suspension.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes. Any questions on the ordinance before we vote? Okay, I'm hearing none. Michaela, please call the roll.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes. All right.
Question before we move forward.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor.
Do we have the WebEx, is that up and,
Yeah.
okay.
Currently, we only have one participant, and that's me.
Okay. Because I had someone send me a message saying that they were not able to get in. I just saw their message, and
It
So-
says we only have one participant, so
Okay.
I don't, sorry.
that's okay. Thank you.
All right. Item I2 will also pass under suspension under emergency. Item I3, resolution number 034-24, a resolution authorizing the finance director to transfer certain fund balances, transfer number 3, from respective funds to another fund pursuant to ORC section 5705.14 on an as-needed basis in the fiscal year 2024, as listed in Exhibit A, and declaring an emergency.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Kevin?
Okay, again, thank you, Council President. We don't see this one too often, but this time we have two items on this. What this resolution does is it allows us to transfer funds from one fund to a totally different fund. And we do this quite often, but this is one of the resolutions that we pass at budgeting time that we, as long as they're listed on that budget time, from the time frame there, we can, that gives us the authority to do it throughout the year. This one here, we have one from a 231 fund to a 272 fund. And what that is that was two court funds, where they changed different type of grants, or they combined grants actually, and we had money left over in one fund, and we moved that additional money over to the other fund so that they could use it, and then we would close out the one fund. So that would have been the top one for $767.18. The other one was an anomaly on this, is that it was a credit card purchase that was returned, and when that happened, is we had a different department pay for somebody's expense on a credit card. So the credit applied to, in this item, a general fund item. So in essence, the general fund paid for an item out of the rec fund, through no fault of anybody's, because the rec fund basically bought an item, didn't need it, or had too much, or anyways returned it, which caused a credit on our account, which then applied to our billing of a next purchase the following month. So to make it correct, for the $395.76, we had to transfer said money from the rec fund to the general fund, and that's an accounting thing. So the rec fund didn't actually pay for something out of there, or the general fund didn't actually pay for something out of the rec fund. Again, I asked for suspension on this item, and if there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Okay. Any questions from council?
Motion for suspension?
Thank you, sir.
Second.
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll on suspension.
Ken,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Dr. Dave,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes. And please call the roll on the resolution, please.
Ken,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Dr. Dave,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes. Okay, that will also pass on first read under suspension, under emergency. Item I4, resolution number 035-24, a resolution authorizing the city manager to renew a contract with Whirler Waste Control and Recycling, Inc. without the necessity of public bidding and declaring an emergency. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Chad?
Yes, every 3 years, we have to renew our contract for our recycling program. Once again, our current contract will expire at the end of the year. We've used Whirler out of Defiance as long as I can remember. We've never had any issues with them. In the new contract, we met with them and negotiated a price. Our price had been locked in at $45 a ton for the last 2 contracts, or 6 years. They requested an increase to $50 per ton. We expected that to be the minimum increase, but they did agree to $50. The term of the contract is 3 additional years, so that'll expire December of '27. But with the terms of the contract, we just asked for council to take first read on this. If we take 3 reads with the emergency attached, we'll have it finished before the end of the year when our current contract expires.
Perfect. Any questions or comments from council? Chad, to your knowledge, have we had any complaints about Whirler?
I took over about 12, 13 years ago, and I've never heard a single complaint from them. When we first got rid of glass as something we were able to recycle, there were some issues with how clean what we were taking them was. We instructed our staff to start leaving recycle bins that they could visually see what had too much contamination. But when we met with them a few weeks back, they even said we're now one of their cleaner communities. So they're very happy with the effort our guys put into it, and we've never had an issue with them. So.
Perfect. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Michaela, please call the roll.
Ken,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Dr. Dave,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes. All right, that'll move to second read. Item J, second reading of ordinances and resolutions. There are none this evening. Item K, third reading of ordinances and resolutions. There are also none this evening. Item L, good of the city. Item L1, discussion or action. The Parks and Recreation Board recommends to council to set trick or treat for Thursday, October 31st, from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Chad.
Yes, they met, just as the memo said, the Parks and Rec Board passed unanimously the recommendation for trick or treating to be Thursday, October 31st from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Just asking for council approval.
Do you have a motion to approve?
Motion? Second.
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll.
Ken,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Dr. Dave, Ross.
Yes. All right. We'll go around the table. Kevin, I'll start on your end this evening.
I have nothing this evening, thank you.
Tom,
Thank you.
Dr. Dave. Mr. Mayor.
So I heard today that we are sending an electric department crew to Florida ahead of the Hurricane Milton. Do you have any information on that at all?
I do not, I didn't get a chance to talk to Andy about that today.
Okay. What's his name? That was with us from AMP, Adam. Adam mentioned it to me. We went to dinner before this and he's like, hey, I want to thank you, and I had no idea. So I want to at least bring it up and obviously thank the crews that are going there and their families for letting them leave, and obviously they'll be in our thoughts and make sure that they're safe. You know, they're going, as the former mayor would say, they're going into places that people are running from. So just if you could send them our appreciation.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Mayor Balaruki, I believe it's like 3 or 4 members of our electric team that's going down.
Okay.
That's what I was informed today.
While we're on that topic, I talked to Brittany Roof this afternoon around 2 o'clock, and she said they were just getting through Kentucky and Tennessee. She gave me the name of those 3. It was Jeffrey Feeder, Jose Gomez, and is it Zakia Kaufman?
Jeff Feather, Oscar Gomez, Jose, and I'll be honest, I think the third guy is one of our newer employees.
Yeah, she said he was an apprentice, I believe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely want to thank those 3 gentlemen. So, it's all good. Anything else, Mr. Mayor?
Nope, that's it.
Mr. Hayes?
I have a general question on recycling. We take only 1s and 2s, correct?
Correct.
With all the soft drink bottles that come out now, it says it's printed on the cap to leave that on the bottle.
When we spoke to Whirler, actually the last contract, when I spoke to them, they're okay with the caps staying on because it's so minor. They used to ask that the caps be removed and thrown in the trash, but it's so minor now, they're okay with it.
Okay.
Anything else, Mr. Hayes?
They put a cap on that subject.
Touche.
Mr. Weitzel?
Nothing.
All right. Jordan?
Nothing for me.
Billy?
I'll try to be brief. So the law department going forward is going to be reserving an hour per week for in-person meetings for council people. I'm going to limit it to 2 at a time so we don't run afoul of any open meetings issues, any sunshine law issues. I just would request that you let me know that you want to come in on a Wednesday at 10. That's when I'm going to put it, so that we can discuss a few different things. The primary goal is to make sure that I'm available in person for council people. If they have questions and they want to see my face, I can, email works too. But I'm going to set aside that hour from 10 to 11 to meet with anybody who wants to come in. Another goal will be to educate council regarding the responsibilities of the law department, what I do, what Tammy does, what we do as a department. We'll have some example work available, and we can discuss the various issues that I handle. Another part will be to educate council regarding their responsibilities as council people. in an email that I put to you last week, and there was some discussion on some potential trainings that council might want to take part in. An important one is the fraud training that's been going around. I think that's actually mandatory, so let's hopefully get that done here shortly. But there's some other stuff in there regarding ethics or sunshine law stuff that I hope that everybody looks at so that you're aware of it. In addition to that brief topic, I'd like to give just a summary of some of the customary issues handled by the law department in a normal year, where we're at so far through September. Criminal cases handled so far this year, 365. Traffic cases, 1,962. There are 2 appeals. Contracts reviewed or drafted this year so far are 23. Formal and informal legal opinions are approximately 50, probably more than that actually, but criminal fine, traffic fine, and settlement money collected so far by the law department is $31,008.23. Legislation drafted so far is 35 ordinances or resolutions, and we have 2 pending civil actions. So I want to make this a very clear invitation. If you have any questions, come talk to me. That time period is going to be open, and there will be other available timeframes as well. But I want to have that blocked off, just because my schedule is pretty busy. And, you know, Fridays can sometimes work, and Fridays can sometimes not work. I have trials usually on a Friday. If there is a trial, Mondays and Thursdays are usually pretty terrible because I'm in court all day. Wednesdays seemed like the best idea going forward to say, I'm going to block off this part of time. If I get a request, I'll have whoever wants to come speak to me. They'll have my undivided attention, and they can come see some of the sample work that I've set aside, and they can ask me any questions if they're looking to understand what I do or what Tammy does, or just to ask general questions, 2 at a time at max, so we don't break any rules. But please come by and stop by and talk to us.
Perfect. Thank you, Billy.
Yep.
Chad?
Just a reminder that the fall cleanup is taking place this week. Today, we were actually able to stay on schedule, which is great. We had a couple guys work about an hour overtime to finish filling the truck, but that's standard procedure this week. Then just to add on to what Billy said a little bit, I'm probably a big chunk of his contracts and a vast majority of his legal opinions that aren't necessarily official. Whenever I walk down there.
We'll call them informal.
Yes, informal. They've always taken care of my needs, and I appreciate it. But other than that, just hopeful that we can get Andy back soon and keep moving.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chad.
Yep.
I will call an executive session for employee compensation. And that is all I had tonight. If we could have a motion to enter executive session, please.
So moved. Second?
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll.
Ken,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Dr. Dave, Ross.
Yes. Alrighty.
Council
Thank you,
President,
Justin.
there was an additional one on the agenda listed for pending.
Oh, okay.
litigation.
Sorry, Billy. If we could have another motion to go into executive session concerning pending or imminent, gosh dang it. Imminent court action.
So moved.
Please. Thank you. Is there a second?
So,
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll.
Ken,
yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Dr. Dave, Ross.
Yes. Bill, you put that in there, set me up.
Yeah.
All right. If we could have a motion to come out of executive session for employee compensation and pending or imminent litigation, please. We have a motion by Tom. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll.
Ken,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Dr. Dave, Ross.
Yes. No action taken in either one of those executive sessions. Item N, approve payment of bills. In the absence of any objections or corrections, the payment of bills shall stand approved. Hearing none, they'll stand approved. Is there a motion for adjournment, please?
Motion. Second.
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll.
Ken,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Dr. Dave, Ross.
Yes, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Is there just, did I miss that, was there just one executive session we came out of, or did we get them all?
You did
Did them both
Okay.
together.
All right.